911 operators hear thousands of emergency calls every year. Most of them are real. Some are prank calls. But one call was impossible because it came from someone who had been dead for over 10 years. Sarah had worked as a 911 dispatcher for nearly 5 years. She'd handled car crashes, house fires, armed robberies, almost everything. Nothing scared her anymore. Until one rainy Tuesday night. It was 3:14 a.m. The emergency call center was unusually quiet. Then her headset beeped. Incoming call. Sarah answered immediately. 911, what's your emergency? For a few seconds, only static. Then, a little girl's voice, barely above a whisper. Please, help me. Sarah sat up straight. What's your name? No answer. Only quiet breathing. Then the girl whispered, He's inside my room. Sarah's heart skipped. Who is he? The girl began crying. I don't know. He's standing by my closet. Sarah quickly traced the caller's location. The address appeared on her screen. An old house on Willow Street. She immediately dispatched officers. Stay on the phone with me, Sarah said gently. We're sending help. The little girl suddenly whispered, Don't tell him I'm talking. Sarah lowered her voice. You're safe. Stay hidden. Silence. Then, very slow footsteps echoed through the phone. Step, step, step. The girl began breathing faster. He's coming. Sarah heard a closet door creak open. Then, the line went completely silent. The police arrive. Within 6 minutes, 2 patrol cars reached Willow Street. Sarah waited for an update. Finally, one officer radioed in. Dispatch. His voice sounded confused. The house is empty. Sarah frowned. What do you mean? No electricity. No furniture. The place has been abandoned for years. She checked the address again. It was correct. Then another officer spoke. Wait, we found an old bedroom upstairs. Sarah asked, Is the child there? Long silence. Then, No, but there's something strange. Inside the dusty bedroom sat an old pink teddy bear. It looked untouched, as if someone had placed it there that same day. The investigation. The next morning, Sarah couldn't stop thinking about the call. She searched old property records. That's when she found an article from 11 years earlier. A family had once lived in that house. One night, their 8-year-old daughter disappeared. Police searched for weeks. They never found her. The case remained unsolved. Sarah stared at the girl's school photo. It was the same voice. She was sure of it. The recording. Sarah requested the audio recording from the night before. She wanted to listen again. The technician looked confused. What recording? The 3:14 a.m. emergency call. He searched the system. Nothing. No incoming call. No audio file. No phone number. According to the computer, the call had never happened. The final discovery. Days later, one detective reopened the old missing person case. Workers searched beneath the bedroom floorboards. After hours of digging, they found a small hidden space. Inside were the remains of the missing girl. She had been there the entire time. Sarah stood outside the house as investigators worked. A detective quietly walked over. You know something even stranger? Sarah looked up. He handed her a small silver bracelet. Inside it, the girl's name was engraved. Emily. Exactly the name Sarah remembered hearing, even though the girl had never actually said it during the call. Sarah suddenly realized she hadn't learned the name from the conversation. Someone had whispered it in her ear. Ending. That night, Sarah returned to work. Her headset beeped again. Incoming call. She answered. 911, what's your emergency? A familiar little voice replied, This time, it wasn't crying. It simply said, "Thank you for finding me." The call disconnected. No number, no recording, no trace. It never appeared in the system. Sarah never received another call from that little girl. But every year, at exactly 3:14 a.m., her headset emits a few seconds of static. And if she listens carefully, she can still hear a child quietly whisper, "I'm not alone anymore." Final line. Some emergency calls don't ask to be answered, they ask to be remembered. Have you ever accepted one last job just before going home? Most people think the final delivery of the night is the easiest. For Ethan, it became the last normal decision he ever made. This story happened just after 2:40 a.m. on a cold Friday night. Ethan had been delivering food for almost 2 years. Night shifts paid better, and he enjoyed the empty roads. By 2:43 a.m., he was exhausted. He was about to go offline when one final order appeared. The pay was unusually high, £38 for a delivery less than 10 minutes away. He hesitated, then accepted it. The customer's name was simply A. The address led him to an old house at the end of a quiet street. There were no nearby houses, no parked cars, no lights. Only one porch light flickered weakly. As Ethan parked, his phone vibrated. A message from the customer. "Please don't knock." That wasn't unusual. Many customers preferred quiet deliveries. He grabbed the food and walked toward the front door. Just before reaching it, another message appeared. "Don't use the front door." Ethan stopped. He looked around. The street was completely empty. Then another message. "Come to the back entrance." A strange feeling settled in his stomach. Still, he wanted to finish the order and leave. He walked around the side of the house. The backyard was surrounded by a tall wooden fence. The back porch light was broken. Everything was almost completely dark. As he stepped onto the porch, his phone buzzed again. "Leave the food on the chair." He finally relaxed. Simple enough. He placed the bag on the old wooden chair. Then, another notification appeared almost instantly. "Don't turn around." Ethan frowned. He stared at the message. His heart started beating faster. He slowly typed, "What do you mean?" The reply came immediately. "Because someone is standing behind you." Every muscle in Ethan's body froze. He could hear nothing, only the sound of the wind. Slowly, he looked at the reflection in the dark kitchen window. Someone was standing several feet behind him, a tall figure, completely still. Ethan spun around. Nobody. The backyard was empty. He looked back at the window. The reflection was gone. Trying to calm himself, he laughed nervously. "Someone's messing with me." He hurried toward his car. Halfway there, his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. A frightened woman's voice whispered, "Please don't leave. I'm upstairs. My phone battery is dying. They're inside the house." Before Ethan could answer, the call ended. He immediately called back. The number didn't exist. His hands started shaking. Then another text arrived. "Please help me." Without thinking, Ethan dialed the police. He explained everything. The dispatcher told him officers were already on the way. 2 police cars arrived within minutes. Officers searched the entire property. Front door, back door, garage, basement, everything. The house was empty. No woman, no intruder, nothing. One officer walked over to Ethan. "Are you sure this is the right address?" Ethan nodded. He showed them the delivery app. The officer looked confused. "This house has been abandoned for 3 years." Ethan stared at him. "That's impossible. I just delivered food here." The officer's face turned serious. "There hasn't been electricity here since the owners disappeared." Ethan slowly looked toward the upstairs window. For a split second, he saw someone move behind the curtain. The officers rushed upstairs. 30 seconds later, they came back down. The room was empty. But on the dusty bedroom floor, they found something strange. A fresh delivery receipt, with today's date, Ethan's name, and one handwritten sentence. "Thank you for coming." The police never discovered who placed the order. The delivery app later claimed that order had never existed. There was no payment, no customer account, no delivery record, as if the job had never happened. Ethan quit his night deliveries the very next day. Months later, he bought a new phone. While deleting old screenshots, he found one image he didn't remember taking. It was a photo of the abandoned house. Zooming into the upstairs window, he saw the frightened woman. Standing behind her was a tall, dark figure, looking directly at the camera. Some deliveries are never meant to reach their destination. Night security guards spend most of their shifts watching empty parking garages. But one guard noticed something strange. Every night, at exactly 3:03 a.m., 1 minute of CCTV footage disappeared. He thought it was a technical problem, until he discovered what happened during that missing minute. Ryan had just started working as a night security guard at an underground parking garage beneath a luxury apartment building. The job was simple: watch the cameras, check the parking levels every hour, report anything unusual. The garage had 3 underground floors, more than 200 parking spaces. Most nights, nothing happened. The only sounds were distant water pipes and the hum of fluorescent lights. On his 6th night, Ryan noticed something odd. The CCTV timeline skipped. Every camera jumped from 3:02 a.m. directly to 3:04 a.m. Exactly 1 minute was missing. He reported it to his supervisor. The supervisor barely looked at the monitor, then casually replied, "Old system, it happens sometimes." Ryan accepted the explanation, at least for a while. The next night, the same thing happened. 3:02, then immediately 3:04. No error message, no recording failure, just 1 missing minute. Ryan became curious. He exported the footage and played it frame by frame. Everything looked normal, until the final frame before the skip. Standing beside a concrete pillar was someone wearing a black hoodie. Ryan paused the video. He was certain that person hadn't been there a second earlier. He zoomed in. The face couldn't be seen, only darkness beneath the hood. The following night, Ryan decided to stay in the control room before 3:03 a.m. He wanted to watch the cameras live. The clock reached 3 hours, 2 minutes, 58 seconds. Nothing. 3 hours, 2 minutes, 59 seconds. Everything normal. Then, every monitor flickered, for less than a second. When the picture returned, the clock read 3:04 a.m. The missing minute had happened again, but this time, Ryan noticed something new. Every parked car had changed position, not by much, just enough to notice, as if time itself had continued while the cameras stopped recording. Unable to ignore it, Ryan went downstairs. The garage felt colder than usual. His flashlight echoed across the concrete walls. He walked to the pillar where he'd seen the hooded figure. Nothing. Then, he heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, behind him. He turned. Empty. The footsteps continued. Closer, closer. But there was nobody there. Ryan hurried back to the control room. His hands were shaking. He checked camera 7. The hallway behind him was empty. Then, the footage glitched. For one frame, someone was standing directly behind his chair. Ryan spun around. Nobody. He looked back at the monitor. Empty again. The next morning, he searched through old maintenance records. One file caught his attention. 5 years earlier, a security guard had disappeared during a night shift. His body was never found. The report ended with one sentence: last seen entering level B3 at 3:03 a.m. Ryan's stomach tightened. That was the exact time the cameras skipped. Ryan couldn't let it go. The next night, he hid a small action camera inside his jacket. If the CCTV failed, his own camera would still record. At 3:03 a.m., the lights went out. For exactly 1 minute. When they came back, Ryan was standing in a different part of the garage. He didn't remember moving. His watch had stopped. His action camera was still recording. With trembling hands, he played back the footage. For the first few seconds, everything looked normal. Then, the screen filled with static. When the picture returned, Ryan saw himself, standing completely still, surrounded by dozens of silent people wearing black hoodies. None of them had faces. They were all staring at him. Then, every one of them slowly raised an arm and pointed behind Ryan. The camera turned. A tall shadow stood only a few feet away. Its eyes reflected the camera light. Then, the recording ended. Ryan quit the very next morning. The apartment management denied everything. They claimed the CCTV system had never failed. Years later, the underground garage is still open. Residents occasionally complain that at exactly 3:03 a.m., their parked cars are never quite where they remember leaving them. And if you ever review the CCTV footage from that hour, watch the final frame before the recording skips. You might notice someone in a black hoodie standing behind your car, waiting. Some places don't steal your car. They steal 1 minute of your life.